Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Black Aram and I'm a content creator on fragrance, beauty, fashion, hair, everything beautiful, everything gorgeous. My motto in life is look good and smell good. And any chance you get to do it all and do it right. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be filming a spring summer fragrance wish list. I did one for the autumn winter season, even though I posted it like practically almost at the end of winter, mid-winter. But anyway, so with the spring summer season, when it comes to fragrance, I like the usual suspects, the florals, the fruity fragrances, but I also enjoy the fresh ones as well. I've only started liking the floral fragrances not too long ago. I also started embracing a little bit more of the very feminine, frou-frou-lala kind of fragrances as of last year. Before that, I liked the heavy hitters. That's what I really preferred. The stronger, the better. The ones that weren't very feminine. But I never really smelled unisex fragrances, so I didn't really know how I felt about them. So now that my taste has changed, I have a bit more variety. I have a bit more options in terms of what I like. I like a little bit more of florals now, a little bit more fruity. There's still fruity fragrances are still not necessarily like my first choice, but I love them anyway. And we all know with South African summers, they are super hot. Tropical summers, okay? So I'm going to mention like what's on my wish list. These are going to be some of the fragrances that I've smelled, some I haven't smelled, but I would really love to get my nose on it. It's a range of indie brands, niche brands, luxury brands, and affordable brands. I'm not really limiting myself as to which ones I am going to mention in this list. All right, first up on the list is going to be Prada's Paradox. This is one fragrance that's very popular. If you watch videos about fragrances, you're gonna see it pop up on a lot of people's favorite fragrances. It's a gorgeous floral fragrance, and it's an old perfume. It's not a new perfume. So remember it being a sweet floral fragrance, very feminine, very frou-frou-lala, definitely. It's bright, it's sweet. It's a very stunning spring summer fragrance, absolutely gorgeous. It's very upbeat as well. It's a lively. It's a fragrance that you definitely won't miss. I think it has it has a very good projection, a very good sillage, and I can't wait to have it as part of my collection. Moving on, Prada Candy. This one is one fragrance that, how do I put it? It kind of shocked me and surprised me. The first time when I saw it was in a magazine, and I think I remember it being described as somewhat gourmand, but not really. And then I saw a page on Instagram, a fragrance page, and they were talking about how they grouped a couple of fragrances and that had a specific focal note, and the note was caramel. This fragrance does have caramel in it, but to be honest with you, I thought it would be more of a caramel than what it actually is. I honestly thought that it was more caramel, more gourmand than it is. It definitely isn't. To me, on my nose, it's more of a patchouli heavy kind of a fragrance. It's very floral as well. It's a bit woody. Not necessarily frou-frou-lala, but it is feminine. It's gorgeous though. It is absolutely gorgeous. I really like it. Patchouli is one note I wasn't sure about. I would not necessarily say it's like my most favorite fragrance note, but it's a fragrance note that I'm really starting to fall in love with and I'm starting to enjoy. I'm easing into it. I don't want to start making any claims that I'm not really too sure about. I take my time, especially even when it comes to fragrances, to be like, okay, this note I can definitely do in any fragrance, really. The final dry down is musky, floral, and has floral sweetness as opposed to fruity or gourmand. The patchouli tones down a bit to a hint of sweetness. It's a stunning fragrance. I expected to love it, but for what I thought it was and not for what it actually is. So smelling it and then getting what it actually really gives, that's when I was like, okay, maybe this is not a bad idea. you know. Another one that I think will be gorgeous for my collection is the Kayali Eden Sparkling Lychee 39. It's gorgeous, it's bright, it's upbeat, it's super fun, it's very effervescent. How else can I describe it? It's fun. It really will boost your mood. Like, it'll get your mood up. It was a gorgeous fragrance. I smelt it with a bunch of other fragrances. As much as I like to smell fragrances, sometimes when I sniff a little too many, I tend to forget the important details about the other fragrances, especially the ones that I've smelled in the beginning of that particular day. And so this one is one of them. I cannot remember for the life of me what I say the details about it, but it was a gorgeous fragrance. Next on my list is this one is one of those fragrances that are kind of like a forever love. It's Perfumes de Mali's Oriana. I think at this point, Perfumes de Mali is with me when it comes to fragrances. I love the way they do their fragrances. It's love at first sniff. Like, it's that kind of a brand that will give you love at first sniff when it comes to a fragrance. Notes are mandarin, bergamot, and grapefruit. Middle notes are orange blossom, raspberry, and blackcurrant. The base notes are marshmallow, whipped cream, musk, and amberette. It is a stunning gourmand kind of a fragrance. The marshmallow, I love how it's not like super synthetic. It smells delicious, but they balance it in the most beautiful way, because the citrus, the mandarin is very sweet and juicy in this fragrance, and the grapefruit as well. It's a bit of, you know how grapefruit has that bit of tanginess, the bit of tanginess that's almost like a bitterness. It comes through this fragrance, but in the most gorgeous way possible. The orange blossom, for me, I feel like the star notes on my nose were the orange blossom, the raspberry, the marshmallow, whipped cream, and the musk as well, with the mandarin and grapefruit just beautifully gliding through the fragrance. It is an absolutely stunning, delicious gourmand fragrance. I think it'll be absolutely fantastic for the spring summer season. It's a bit floral because of the orange blossom. It gives it a bit of beautiful floralness, but the gourmand as well, it is just absolutely stunning. It is absolutely gorgeous, and the pink bottle it's too pretty. It's too pretty for words. I love it, and I can't wait. I literally can't wait. Next up on the list is, this one is a forever. Perfumes de Mali's Valaya. I fell in love with this fragrance the very first time I smelled it. That moment when I sprayed it and put my nose on it, my heart was gone. It's a fresh, white floral, beautiful fragrance that has hints of greenery, that is musky, that is a bit citrusy as well. It is beast mode. I mean, I sprayed it on my wrist and I could still smell it days later. And I intentionally I wanted to see how long it would last on my skin. I sprayed it, and it was half a spray because the spray wouldn't go all the way down. It got stuck in the middle, and then it only just did a little kind of a spray, half a spray. But that thing lasted on my skin at least for 5 days. At least 5 days I could solidly smell it. Yes, it's nasty, but I didn't wash this part of my wrist because I wanted to smell how it is. After that, I was like, okay, no, that's just too nasty. Water did brush off at some point, but it still didn't wash it off. My phone got into contact with my wrist, and the fragrance then stayed for about a month on my phone. From half a spray, not even like a full spray or overspraying, half a spray. You can't tell me that's not a beast mode fragrance. Like, that's the kind of fragrance that's gonna be on you, and which is what we need. I mean, who wants to spray a fragrance and then walk out the house and don't even remember what's on you? Like, it's just like that, gone. But it's a stunning white florals, bright. It literally took my mood from a 40% to super happy. Like, I was very happy. I was happy. Like, it literally boosted my mood I had a bounce in my step. It's that kind of fragrance that I love it when I spray fragrance. It not only just smells really good, but it really just really affects my mood, like in a very positive way. It makes me very upbeat, very happy and relaxed and like fun. It's beautiful. Next on the list is Burberry Goddess. It opens with notes of lavender. It has notes of cacao, vanilla, and tonka bean. Now, when I first saw this fragrance, I saw it around the same time as I saw Dolce & Gabbana's Devotion. For some reason, in my mind, when I looked at them, in my mind, I thought I'd fall in love with Devotion more than I would fall in love with Burberry Goddess. I don't know why. Just by looking at it, that's what I thought. And I read the notes. I'm like, okay, they both have notes that are like. I wasn't too much of a fan. I'm not too much of a fan of lavender in fragrances. I started adjusting to it pretty much this year, I believe I could say. But it's even right now, it's not necessarily a note that it's not a note that I intentionally look for in a fragrance, but I don't necessarily, there's certain fragrances that have lavender that I actually really do enjoy. So I'm gradually warming up to it. There's only one product in particular that I can remember that had a lavender scent that I loved. I still love till this day, but unfortunately it's been discontinued. It's the Johnson & Johnson baby gel, not baby oil, baby gel in lavender. That lavender smell is one of the most luxurious, most beautiful lavender scents I've ever smelled in my entire life. And I don't know why they discontinued it. I don't know why they didn't make a fragrance out of it, because it's so stunning. Anyway, Burberry Goddess, right? The lavender in this one is a bit, it's a bit spicy on my nose. It comes up actually very spicy. I think also it could be with the addition of cocoa, because it tends to smell spicy sometimes, especially when it comes to fragrances. But it's not necessarily cocoa as in chocolate, kind of a cocoa scent. It's more of a spiciness. It's more of a spicy kind of cocoa, making the lavender come off very spicy. The opening, I was a bit skeptical about it, but when it got to the dried down, that vanilla, that vanilla and the tonka bean in the dried down, my goodness, love. And then when I smelled the Devotion, the opening, the citrusy opening kind of threw me off, and I adjusted a bit more to citruses than I did to lavender, but that citrusy opening was just not the one. And for some reason, even when I smelled the dried down, I found myself loving the Burberry Goddess more than I was the Devotion. But I also say to myself that I'm not completely writing off Devotion. Maybe with time, but right now Burberry Goddess is my choice. I love it. I did not expect to love it that much. It has this beautiful, bright, warm, sweet vanilla dry down, and it's smooth, it's gourmand. It's another fragrance that I like. It's YSL's Libre. When it comes to this one, it's kind of funny. The first time when I smelled the dupe for this fragrance, no, I smelled Libre's L'Intense, L'Absolute, the clear one. I did not like it. I was like, how on earth is everybody just talking about, oh, it's so beautiful? And where? Where? I don't. I was like, yeah, no, thank you. I saw the Libre and Libre Intense, and I was just like, and then about months later, I think I was in Zara, and I was looking for which fragrance I could buy from Zara, because I've been hearing a lot of mixed feelings when it comes to Zara fragrances. So I was like, okay, let me just check out what's there and see what I like and what I could buy if I do decide I actually even want to buy. And I smelled Golden Decade, which is also on this list. I'll just mention it right now, Golden Decade as well by Zara. and which is the dupe for the Libre fragrance. And I smelled it and I'm like, not necessarily something that I gravitate towards very easily firsthand. Strong, heavy on the patchouli. The lavender is there as well, but it's not on my nose. It wasn't a particular it wasn't a, what's the word, why did I lose the word, particularly typical lavender. It's a bit different. I'm hoping I could get the Zara Golden Decade soon. I don't know, but we'll see. Next one on the list is Zara's Cherry Smoothie, which this one is the dupe for the Tom Ford Lost Cherry. The Tom Ford Lost Cherry is stunning. I'm just a little irritated with the fact that I couldn't get to smell the fragrance from the opening all the way to the dry down. I smelled the dry down of it mostly on the bottle. It's very sweet, it's very fruity, it's gorgeous, it's very syrupy, it's dense, it's vanilla. I love it, and I was like, it's the kind of fragrance that I'd rather, I'm in love with it, and I'll find out with the opening. I mean, as long as I love the dry down. When it comes to fragrance, I really am more concerned about the dry down than I am about the top, maybe middle notes, especially the opening of it, because at the end of the day, essentially what I'm going to be wearing is the dry down and not the opening notes. But yes, I know that there are some opening notes that are transversal, but I've made the decision that I'm in love with it. Okay, Cherry Smoothie notes. It's a floral, fruity fragrance. The top notes are cherry, almond, and plum. The middle notes are Peru balsam, heliotrope, and hawthorn. The base notes are vanilla and tonka bean. I guess that's why it's super heavy in the vanilla and very sweet and very gourmand. It's very delicious. It's very gourmand in the dry down because of the vanilla and the tonka bean. It's absolutely gorgeous. I really, really, really love it. Narciso Rodriguez for her. Love it. It's very musky. Rose. I remember there being musk, rose, cedarwood. I think there was sandalwood in the mix as well. Yeah, it was a stunning, very feminine, very sexy, kind of a musky fragrance. Next on the list is Miss Jasmine by Juice Fragrances. This one, I found myself enjoying it a little more than I enjoyed the actual Gucci Bloom, because the Gucci Bloom, when I smelled it smelled a bit softer in projection and the intensity. It's a beautiful soft floral kind of a fragrance. For me, it read very day to day, probably sleep in it, maybe run errands in it. That's the kind of idea I got from the Gucci Bloom. But when I smelled the Miss Jasmine, it's a bit more fun, it's a bit more intense, it's a bit more vibrant and in your face than the actual Gucci Bloom. So I was like, okay, this one is a bit more daytime, brunches, even as a wedding guest especially. I think it would be a stunning fragrance. It's very floral, it has a beautiful sweetness, it's stunning. Next on the list is Dior L'Or. This one was a bit weird for me. It's not the kind of fragrance that I easily gravitate towards. I wasn't in love with it at first because I felt the profile wasn't really my vibe, and at the time I felt that it was a bit more mature for my liking, and so I was like, not for me. So with the Dior L'Or, it's new. I think it launched last year, and it carries the same profile as J'adore. I think it's even called J'adore L'Or. I've seen some campaign pictures saying J'adore L'Or, some just saying L'Or, so I'm not 100% sure exactly if it's just another flanker of the J'adore or it's just its own thing, but it carries the same profile DNA as J'adore, so I think it's the same thing. It's a feminine ambery floral fragrance. It's warm with floral sweetness, but not too sweet. It has a hint of greenery that has a hint of sweetness. It projects beautifully, and it has the same floral green profile as Sunbeam by Juice Fragrances, which was inspired by Dior's J'adore. It has warm luminous woods that aren't all that intense but are prominent. It's also very smooth. It has a strong sillage, and it's definitely something to leave a scent trail. It's a bit musky, sweet, and floral in the dry down as well. The patchouli is also very stunning in this one. I'll mention also Sunbeam as my on my wish list as well. It's freaking stunning. And funny enough, when I did when I first got that fragrance, I wasn't in love with it. I didn't like it. It didn't really speak to me because it's borderline. It's pretty much identical, let me say, to J'adore. Just a difference here and there. It's borderline identical though, and there was just things that I didn't really like about it. But it projected it incredibly well, and eventually I started warming up to it. And at the end of it, when I finished out the sample, because I was testing them out to do a review, I meant to do a full review here on YouTube, but I ended up losing the footage, so I only stuck to just doing it on my social media. But it was a stunning fragrance, and I really, really enjoyed that one. It's a beautiful fragrance, and as it went, and I smelt it on my top later, because it transferred onto my top on the wrist part, and I was like, okay, this is gorgeous. I actually think I would love to have this fragrance. Next up on my list is Chanel's Coco Mademoiselle. It was a stunning fragrance. I remember the time that I've seen any mention of Coco Mademoiselle as well as Chanel No. 5, they were always sort of like put against each other. You'd always see people talk about either Mademoiselle in comparison to No. 5 or No. 5 in comparison to Mademoiselle. So when I smelled Mademoiselle, I was like, no. Now for me, and it also smells a little more mature than I prefer, but Coco Mademoiselle, it's different. It's very bright. It's very prominent. It's bold. It's a stunning, gorgeous fragrance. It's mind-blowingly beautiful. You smell like old money. You smell rich, luxurious, powerful, feminine, and sexy. It's ambery, floral, a hint of sweetness, and a bit fruity. Soft woods coming in, and it's a beast. It's absolutely a beast. Like, it's that kind of fragrance that would last a very, like, that you'd have to scrub it off of you. What else did I write? It's floral, rosy, woody, ambery. It's light and airy as well. It has a sweet musky note like the pink sweets. I think they're called romantics, something like that. It kind of smells like that, but just not as powdery as those sweets. It's rich, it's stunning, and it's a beast mode. It's a performer. It's something that I wouldn't necessarily say it's kind of youthful. So if you're looking for something a little more youthful, rather go for the Chanel Chance au Tendre, which is another favorite. What did I write about it? Okay, it is sweet, fruity, airy, girly, and frou-frou-lala, but it's gorgeous and fun. It's light but intense in the projection. It has delicate florals that are powerful on projection and sweet, fun, gourmand, fruity notes. It has a hint of soft woods. When I first came across the Chanel Chance fragrances, I didn't think I'd like them. I didn't think I'd appreciate them because they just look very soft, very light, barely there, wallflower kind of fragrances. But when I smelled Chance au Tendre, I was like, I stand corrected. It's very gorgeous, super youthful. It's fun, it's upbeat, it's very lively, it's very girly. It and Dior's Miss Dior Eau de Parfum are fragrances that I feel are very youthful and will work very well for the younger demographic and not necessarily so much so for the older demographic of women. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I like it. I really, really like it. It's stunning. It's also on my wish list. It's so fresh and fun and soft, but like not soft on the palate, but very bold and pungent. I know it sounds like a contradiction, but that's the best way I can put into words exactly what it gives, because it's not like a dense kind of a fragrance. It's very light, very airy, very fresh, but also it's very prominent. It's not the kind of fragrance I would say is a scent bubble kind of a fragrance. It's gorgeous. I move on. Valentino Donna Born in Roma. Pink PP. This perfume, I've heard so many good things about it, and just off of that and reading the notes of it, I'm in love with it. I'm in love with it, and I haven't even gotten my nose on it yet. I will tell you now, I've never seen it in store. It's one of those fragrances that you hear a lot about, and you know that it's available in SA, but like you just never really see it. Okay, top notes: Calabrian mandarin. The middle notes is orange blossom. The base is bourbon vanilla. It's very simple notes described here. It was also limited edition fragrance, so that's a bit wishy-washy, but otherwise it sounds amazing. It's Angel Share by Killian. I don't know if I mentioned it in my autumn winter fragrance list, I don't remember, but I'll just talk about it. The top notes is cognac. This cognac is very, very smooth like the way Hennessy is smooth. Super smooth on the palate. Middle notes are cinnamon, tonka bean, and oak. The base notes are vanilla, praline, and sandalwood. It's absolutely gorgeous. What I want to say about this fragrance though, however, is that I feel like Angel's Share as well as Killian's Love Don't Be Shy have the exact same DNA in the dry down. Like they smell identical to me in the dry down. In the top and the middle notes is a bit different, especially because Angel's Share opens with cognac. I would say maybe the difference is the slight hint of what you call this a musk that is within Angel's Share, but they smell very identical, and I'm glad that I sprayed them on the same day to really just get them, because the one that I smelled first was Love Don't Be Shy, and with Love Don't Be Shy I liked it. I really liked it, but I wouldn't have necessarily said I loved it. I think it compared to Oriana, I prefer Oriana because they kind of have the same idea. There's marshmallow in both fragrances, there's cream in both fragrances, vanilla in both fragrances. It's very sweet as well. But when I smelled Oriana versus Love Don't Be Shy, I think I found myself enjoying Oriana more than I did Love Don't Be Shy. And then when I smelled Angel's Share and Love Don't Be Shy, I feel like, in all honesty, they smell exactly the same in the dry down. The only difference is Angel's Share, especially in the top and the middle notes, in the way that it performs as well. I think if I had to choose between the two, I would definitely say I pick Angel's Share. In my previous video, I talked about how I have I mentioned Love Don't Be Shy being on my autumn winter wish list, but now that I've smelled Angel's Share, I think I'm gonna go for Angel's Share over. I'm not necessarily opposed to Love Don't Be Shy, but I think if I had to choose just between the two, I'd just rather go for Angel's Share. Another perfume that has a very similar vanilla dry down to these two is Love Delight by Amouage. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's very unique, it's different, but I think in the dry down they played it a little too safe considering how it opened, and also the middle notes. So I was just like, it's gorgeous, it's gourmand, it's vanilla, but it didn't give me anything special in the dry down, because I felt like the dry down was a little too simple, considering how beautiful and a little intricate it opened up in the top and the middle notes. So there, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, Amouage Love Tuberose. This one was part of the Secret Garden collection that launched earlier this year. I think somewhere around the winter, because I remember went to the event end of July, and I did a video on that. I did even a mini vlog. Unfortunately, I lost the footage, and so it's life. The other one that was in the collection was Love Delight that I just mentioned, and as well as Blossom Love and Lilac Love. Lilac Love I did not like. I just, no thank you. And then there was Love Delight. I didn't really like it, but it wasn't like my dislike for Lilac Love. That one just did not do it for me. But then Blossom Love. I think that one I didn't like until it was mixed by the person who was in the event. Until it was mixed with Light Blue by Dolce & Gabbana. I don't like light blue. I don't like light blue, and I don't see myself ever liking it. But I'm not saying never. But I don't see myself liking it by any chance. At least not in the next year or two. And so when they mixed it with that one, and I was like, insane. Two fragrances that I actually really don't like, and now mixed together, it changed my mind. That was one of the most stunning fragrance combinations that I've ever smelled in my life. And I was just like, at this point, Amouage and Dolce & Gabbana should just become friends, mix the two and scrap. But anyway, they're very successful, especially Light Blue. It's one of the most successful fragrances, and fragrances also from Dolce & Gabbana. But I don't like that fragrance, couldn't be bothered with it. It's super soft, it's very fresh, it's very blue, it's very light blue. It's very much the name, but I just don't like it. I couldn't be bothered. And so mixed with that one, it was stunning. But this one, Love Tuberose is a very white floral fragrance. It's musky. It's absolutely stunning. It's very unique. I think it's the kind of fragrance that will take a little bit of adjusting to, especially if you like your fragrances simple, to the point, you don't want anything too complicated with it. This one might be a fragrance you might want to ease into it, because it has a beautiful but kind of complicated DNA. But not like super complicated to the point where it's hard to understand or get. Not like that. But it's a stunning fragrance nonetheless. The top notes are tuberose, gardenia, and jasmine. The heart notes, chantilly, cream, vanilla. The base notes are cedarwood and sandalwood. I just made a recent discovery. I don't like gardenia as a floral note. But I do like this fragrance. I just don't like gardenia. My Way by Giorgio Armani. It's a gorgeous floral fragrance. Let me see if I can find the notes. Okay, My Way Eau de Parfum, right? I haven't smelled the intense or the floral eau de parfum, but it's a floral woody fragrance. It's bright and radiant. It is, and it's gorgeously floral. It has notes of bergamot, tuberose, and jasmine. Love jasmine, vanilla, and cedarwood. I love cedarwood and sandalwood also as one of my favorite fragrance notes. And this one, it's very stunning. It's very feminine. It smells very soft and beautiful and feminine and girly and rich as well. It's very luxurious. It smells very luxurious. It smells like a beautiful fresh air of old man. That's the best way I can describe the way that this fragrance gives a profile. It's stunning. It's stunning. It's a gorgeous fragrance. Next on my list is Tom Ford Black Orchid Eau de Toilette. Ooh, I love the Tom Ford Black Orchid. I remember the first time when I smelled the orchid, I hated it with a passion. Then the second time I smelled it, I was like, no, I don't hate you with a passion, I just don't like you. But when I smelled the Black Orchid, which I was afraid of smelling, because I figured it would be the more intense of the orchid, obviously. But when I smelled it, I was very surprised that I fell in love with it. It's absolutely gorgeous. It has top notes of truffle. There's plum in it, rum-soaked plum as they described it. It doesn't really come off as boozy, honestly, on my nose, considering the fact that they say there is a note of rum-soaked plum. There is patchouli in the middle, in the top, and the dried and the base notes. It has vanilla. I didn't really smell the vanilla. It has orchid. The orchid is very soft. It doesn't come off as prominent as I thought it would, considering the name of the fragrance is Black Orchid. I think it has black amber as well. But this one, the Eau de Toilette, it's like that, but just the lighter, more fun, more youthful, younger sister of Black Orchid. The notes of it's described as an oriental floral fragrance. It has the top notes of patchouli and plum. It's plum, but just not rum-soaked as it is in Black Orchid Eau de Parfum. Middle notes are orchid, tuberose, clove and pepper. The base notes are patchouli as well. The patchouli is very there and it's woody. It's a beautiful, stunning fragrance. It doesn't have that pungency of the truffle because the truffle is not in here. It's a bit warmer. It's a bit more floral. Like how can I describe it? I think the orchid shines a little bit more in the eau de toilette than it does in the eau de parfum. The one fragrance that I feel like is very, very similar to this one, instead of the actually one that was meant to kind of like sort of be similar to, it is, I feel like this the eau de toilette is exactly what Juice fragrances, what's it called? Seduction smells like. And Seduction is the fragrance by Juice Fragrances that was inspired by Tom Ford's Black Orchid. I don't know how they did the insane part. The Black Orchid Eau de Toilette was launched last year. Juice Fragrances Seduction has been around, but it literally is that. It smells more like the eau de toilette than it does smell like the eau de parfum. It's an absolutely stunning fragrance. It's very sexy, it's a bit mysterious, it's dense, it's bold, it's absolutely stunning. Like next on my list is Melian Gold by Rabanne. It's the new fragrance that just literally dropped. It is a floral woody musk fragrance for women in white floral, sparkling rose, and addictive mineral musk. This musk is one of the most beautiful musks I've ever come across. The musk is very mineralized. The rose is beautiful. It's stunning. It's prominent. It's very there. Okay, the top notes are mandarin, pear accord, exclusive code distillate essence of lavender. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. And tonka lactone. Yeah, the tonka in this fragrance, it's a bit lactonic, a slight bit lactonic. The heart notes are jasmine, ylang ylang, rose oxide. The ylang ylang in here just gives this beautiful juiciness to the fragrance. It's absolutely stunning. I really, really like it. What else? The vanilla in here is very beautiful. It's very different as well. I love the moss accord in the base notes. It's not intensely mossy, but it's a bit there. The mossiness is a bit there. I will say that the lavender is not that prominent. It's like it's there, kind of like in a not meant to be there kind of a way. It's not too intense. If you don't like lavender, I don't see how this one is going to bother you. It's not going to be a fragrance that's going to bother you, to be quite honest. It's not that intense as I've mentioned, but it is somewhat there. Mandarin, I will say it's not very citrusy. In the opening when I smelled it, I barely picked up any citrus, to be quite honest. I feel like this fragrance is the love child of Marfa by Memo as well as Burberry Goddess, because it has a very, very similar profile to the both of them. It took certain facets of both fragrances. That's why I'm like, I feel like it's like a love child of the both. With Marfa's Memo, which I'm going to talk about next, it's also on this wish list. It has agave, but this one doesn't. The vanilla, it's very much the same way. It has the same exact kind of vanilla. The vanilla is done pretty much the exact same way, but it also has the beautiful warmth and sweetness of Burberry Goddess, and just without that kind of without that lavender and the cocoa. It's stunning though, because Burberry Goddess is a bit warm as well, especially it's very warm and it's a bit spicy with the lavender and the cocoa, but it settles into beautiful, warm, luminous vanilla. It's very bright as well. This fragrance is also very bright, but it's a bit more airy. It is a bit warm, but more airy than it is warm, and it's gorgeous. It's a stunning floral vanilla fragrance. It's very unexpected in my opinion from Rabanne, but it's a stunning fragrance. Next on my list is Marfa by Memo Paris. It has notes of orange blossom and mandarin orange. The middle notes are tuberose, ylang ylang, and agave. The base notes are vanilla, sandalwood, white musk, and cedar. Yes, sandalwood, white musk, and cedar. It's a gorgeous fragrance, absolutely beautiful. I have the sample, but I'm a bit worried that it doesn't seem to be beast mode. It doesn't seem to last very long on my skin, which for me, I find it a bit concerning considering the price tag of this fragrance at 10 point something thousand rands. 10k is a hell of a lot of money for you to not sit on my skin for 12 hours like you were sent for punishment on my skin. I'm not sure if that's just they made the sample slightly superior to the actual slightly inferior to the actual fragrance, but yeah, I love it though. I love it, so beautiful. The agave in this gives it the one of the most beautiful, unique compliments I've ever gotten in a fragrance, especially with the way it smells a bit mineral like, but has a bit of the florals as well with the tuberose and the way it comes in, which is why I'm like that the Rabanne 1 million gold, it's a bit mineral like because of the musk. That's what's more mineral, but the agave in this one, kind of like honey, I feel like to me gives a hint of mineral like accords to a fragrance. Okay, and the next on my list is Lineage by Amouage. Stunning fragrance. It's very beautiful. I actually think I have a sample of it here. So it's green, it's fresh, it's aromatic, it has greenery notes, it's mint as well, it has a mint note. It's heady for the summer. So Lineage is a fragrance I wouldn't necessarily suggest for the daytime in the spring, especially if you're like me and you get heady with fragrances when it's very hot. I think this one is most strictly for the summer and very cool breezy summer, I mean for the spring, but very cool breezy evenings in the summer because of the way it is just a bit heady on me. So if you're sensitive and get easily heady and a bit sick because of fragrances, this is the kind of one I would suggest mostly for the spring. I would also say the autumn season as well. Winter, I mean, you can wear it, but I feel like it doesn't do the same thing. It's herbaceous. It's very sweet. It has a bit of sweetness, the greenery as well, the mint, it has a bit of incense in it. It's a stunning fragrance. Okay, the accords that I mentioned are amber, warm, spicy. It is warm, spicy in the opening, fresh, spicy. Mostly I find it in the dry down, woody, balsamic. It's very balsamic and aromatic as well. It's very aromatic as well. The top notes are ginger, Sichuan pepper, Peruvian pepper, and saffron. Middle notes are olibanum, myrrh, and fenugreek. The base notes are olibanum, myrrh, labdanum, and benzoin. It's a bit warm as well, but it gets this beautiful, fresh lightness in terms of the, but it's a beast mode kind of fragrance. It's the kind of fragrance I wouldn't suggest you overspray because it could make you sick. It's very stunning though. The first time when I smelled it, I didn't really like it, but I was like, it's okay. And when I was doing the review for it and I was like sprayed it, I'm like, no, this is actually really gorgeous. It's beautiful, stunning. The next is are.This by Lattafa. It's a flanker of the Yara fragrance. It was launched in 2023, which is last year. It has top notes of mango, coconut, and passion fruit. The middle notes are jasmine, heliotrope, and orange blossom. The base notes are okay. It is the flanker for the Yara by Lattafa. This one is are.This. It was launched in 2023. The top notes are mango, coconut, and passion fruit. The middle notes are jasmine, heliotrope, and orange blossom. The base notes are vanilla, cashmere, and musk. I smelled this fragrance earlier this year. Or was it late last year? I think it was earlier this year though. I'm not 100% sure if it was the actual real are.This or if it was, I think. Regardless, if that's how the actual are.This smells, it smells gorgeous. It's very tropical, but that one didn't last very long. That was gone like within like about an hour and a half. So that's why I'm saying I'm not 100% sure if it's the actual are.This, but another fragrance that I think I would really fall in love with is Tom Ford Bitter peach. I saw somebody talk about it. I don't remember who it was for the life of me, but they were mentioning how it actually smells like a bitter peach. And they didn't like it and whatnot, but I think I would like it because I smelt it in the dry down. It's a very yummy, juicy, warm, vibrant, bright peach when I smelled the bottle, which was essentially the idea of what the dry down of the fragrance is. It was a stunning fragrance with the smell of it, so I would really, really love to have it on my wish list. I like it. I really, really like it. Ellie Sub Girl of Now. It's a stunning, mouth-watering, delicious. It's too good. It's so good. It is so good. It is a yummy gourmand fragrance. It opens for me, I feel like, with this slight note of sherbet. The same kind of way as Juice fragrances Pink Cashmere, because it was inspired by this one. It has the same kind of sherbet-like opening. It's very nutty as well. It's very sweet. It's creamy, like tonic, vanilla. There's almond, notes of vanilla almond. It was apparently inspired by a Lebanese delicacy of pistachio, something to do with pistachio pastry, something. But it sounds delicious, and this smells mouth-wateringly delicious. It smells like a dessert of a sweet, warm puff pastry dessert with cream, almonds, and vanilla. As well as a bit of pistachio. Another fragrance that is on the wish list, and that is a gourmand that I love, is Kayali's Yum Pistachio Gelato 33. It's in the opening it wasn't my favorite, but when it went into the middle and the dry down notes, I fell tumbling head over heels in love with it. It gets sweet and yummy in the middle notes. The sweetness is not as intense as I thought it would be in the opening, but it starts developing, getting gourmand, then floral, and settles into a delicious, creamy, nutty, and sweet gourmand base, dry base. The pistachio gets a bit greenish and floral, a floral green in the middle notes, which surprised me. I didn't really expect that from it. Then it gets sweet, creamy, and nutty, and very yummy, like very, very yummy. It's absolutely gourmand, yummy, and gorgeous. It smells like the most delicious gourmand creamy ice cream with nuts and sweet as sprinkles. It's a stunning, it's a stunning fragrance. Another delicious mouth-watering fragrance is Kayali Rock Sugar Vanilla. It's sweet like a sweet, but it's not obnoxiously sweet. That's what I loved about it. It gives off very perfume. It gives a bit grown as well. It gives grown as well. Not even to say a bit. It smells like, you know how a kid smells sweet and you're like, oh my goodness, wow. But like in a grown up and perfume kind of a way in my head. It smells a bit like candy floss, which it does have notes of candy floss, but in a grown perfume way. It was fun, lively, upbeat, and girly. It was really, really good. Not as gourmand or sweet as I thought it would be in the middle notes, but it does get sweeter, like very, very gourmand. I was like, oh, this is going to be super sweet. Like, okay, that's too sweet. Kind of like exactly how candy floss tastes like. I don't like candy floss. It's way too sweet for me. Like way too sweet. As much as I enjoy sweet stuff, that's just way too sweet for my preference. But this doesn't smell that obnoxiously sweet. I find Billie Eilish's eyelash obnoxiously sweet. I don't like it. I really don't. And in my opinion, I found it to smell a bit cheap, the sweetness of it, and which I found disappointing, especially for the price of it. I was like, not my favorite. It's very gourmand in the dry down, like a creamy, gooey vanilla dessert that has slight hints of caramel. It's mouth-watering and sweet. It's absolutely delicious. It's basically a sugary, vanilla, creamy dessert drizzled with warm caramel. The notes are, top notes, candied pear, vanilla leaves, violet leaves, sorry, rum, ylang ylang, marshmallow, vanilla cream. In the middle notes, it's jasmine, labdanum, white caramel, bubble gum, jelly bean. The base notes is tonka, vetiver, sandalwood, cashmere woods, patchouli, rock sugar, and Kayali's signature accord. It projects insanely well. It lasts very long as well. So yeah, it is a stunning fragrance. Another one that I really liked, and I think I fell in love with it just off of first sniff by smelling the bottle. I didn't spray the fragrance because, yo, honestly, at that point I was like, if I want to make it out of here in one piece, let me not spray this, because I had already sprayed a lot of fragrances. But that's Kayali's Eden Juicy Apple. I didn't spray it, so I didn't really get to get much of an experience of it as to what it opens like and so on and so forth. But I think just off of sniffing the bottle like that, I'm in love with it. Sweet, a tad bit spicy in the opening, but beautiful. Apple, sweet, fruity, and a bit woody. It was good. But like, yeah, I think it was the most impressive Kayali fragrance that I smelled off of first sniff. Because one other thing also that a lot of people talk about is that Kayali fragrances don't last very long. A lot of people pretty much treat them as layering fragrances, like a topper, and not necessarily a fragrance that they actually wear. Or fragrances that I did spray, I feel like Yum Pistachio and Rock Sugar Vanilla, they last very long, especially Rock Sugar Vanilla. It's very intense, it's very bold, it lasts very long. Vanilla 28 is also freaking stunning. It's a spicy, gorgeous, spicy vanilla fragrance. One that I did like from especially the vacation set was Maldives in a bottle. I said it was sweet, fresh, smells like a bright, sunny, cool blue beach. It smells like a gorgeous sunny turquoise holiday. It's fresh, airy, and soft aquatic notes. It's refreshing and smells like it has a hint of sea salt, and it smells a bit like the ocean. It was a stunning fragrance. I really did enjoy it. I think that'll be all for this video. I don't want it to be too long because that's all it is, a winter, spring, summer wish list. It is stunning. Some of these fragrances I have smelled, as I've mentioned. It's only, I think, a few that I haven't smelled, and I really, really love them. I really, really enjoy them. And some are like, I'm a bit, you know, but otherwise I mentioned the ones that I really, really like and really, really loved. So yeah, that's it for my spring summer wish list. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel. Click the notification bell so you can be notified every time when I upload a new video. Please leave me a comment on the video, what you think about the video, if there's any constructive criticism that you'd like to give, if there's any fragrance that you've tried that you like, if there's any fragrance that you own, if there's any one that I mentioned that you don't like, which ones you prefer over them, so on and so forth. I really enjoyed filming this video. Yeah, that's all from me from this video. Lord willing, I'll see you in my next one. I'm hoping that the next one will actually be a Juice fragrances review. I ordered from Juice. This is the pack, the sleeve that has the samples inside, but I actually put them somewhere else. I'll show you. These are the Juice samples that I got 6 of them, and so yeah, these are the second ones I got. I once ordered from Juice, but I had an issue with a technical difficulty, and I ended up having to scrap the YouTube video. So I ended up just sticking to TikTok and Instagram videos. So yeah, I ended up just leaving it at that because now I was really frustrated. I was really frustrated with the video, but nonetheless, I'm hoping that I'll be able to do a full-on video soon. But there will be videos on TikTok and Instagram where I'll be posting the individual reviews of these samples that I've got. That's it from me. Thank you again for watching. Lord willing, hopefully I'll see you in my next video. I'll leave my socials on the screen where you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram. And yeah, that's all. Thank you. Bye.